Hey family, welcome to Buzzworthy Veterans. I'm your host, Ant Stroud. Today we're joined with Ryan Hollister from Operation New Uniform, and it's definitely a nonprofit that is super close to my heart, so let's jump into it. Ryan, thanks so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So tell me, before we jump into Operation New Uniform, what did you do as far as your military service?
Sure, I was in the Navy. I was stationed down here in Jacksonville on the USS Samuel B. Roberts.
Awesome, awesome. And how long were you in?
I was in 4 years.
4 years. Okay, so that is, for most people, that's one term.
Yep.
How did you decide it was time after 4 years? Because even for me, I thought I was 4 and done. But then they came around and like, hey, you're really good at this. Let's do another 4. How did you know it was time? 4 years was up?
It was tempting. You know, I came in at 18, and so I was relatively young. And when I got out, you know, I had the GI Bill. I had a grant program that I was looking at using up in Illinois, which is my home state. And you know, I just looked at all my options, and at the time thought, if I'm going to do it, I should do it now. You know, I loved the Navy. Definitely always thought I was going to stay there for a longer time, but ultimately just made that choice. You know, it felt like the right choice at the time.
I mean, you're sitting here. It seems like you made the right choice. No regrets?
No regrets.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, let's talk about Operation New Uniform, because I am super excited to be partnering with them here in the near future with some things. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So Operation New Uniform, a wonderful organization, started here in Jacksonville. The purpose is to support those veterans that are transitioning out of the service or have transitioned out or having challenges finding their next career. So it really is, you know, finding that next uniform. What is that career that they can transition from their service to? Gotcha.
So diving deeper into it, what are some of those services? How do they help? What's the paths that people are taking?
Well, the program is a multi-week program. So they bring the candidates in. It's classroom based with a cohort, and they help them or develop their skills, how to network, you know, and find look for the options that they maybe have not looked at. A lot of these folks that, you know, they come out of the service and maybe they don't know all the options that are available to them. They know about being a government contractor, for instance, but they might not know that there's a whole world of opportunity in our local community that they've never been exposed to. And you know, the private sector has never been exposed to them. So the other piece of Operation Uniform is helping bring businesses in the community or expose businesses in the community to the veterans that they may not otherwise have seen.
Right. They're potential candidates that, you know, are not coming to these companies through the generic, maybe potential path of college straight to companies. They're segueing from the military, which in itself is a resume, and a lot of people look for those leadership traits.
That's right.
But we're not necessarily trained to take the avenue that most people do. We have to go kind of around, and sometimes it can seem daunting, but it seems like Operation Uniform helps us as veterans to get back onto the path of normalcy that other civilian members might take.
That's right. It also helps us translate what our skills are. We know our skills as a storekeeper, but that, you know, that really is
Absolutely.
Logistics and supply chain and all these elements that are really valuable to the business community. They don't always know how to understand what we offer, and we don't always do a great job of communicating it to them. So it helps bridge that gap.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Me being a corpsman, you know, people always say, so what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a medical assistant, a CNA, just wrapped in one, you know, and obviously as a doctor, we don't have those credentials. So, you know, how do we tailor our training to be worded so that way anybody who doesn't know the military can understand, oh, this is what he does. And that seems what you guys really help with. How did you get involved in that?
Well, I started, you know, I was looking for opportunities in the community to contribute. And it was really tough because it's really hard to find sometimes an organization that you really resonate with. And I had an opportunity to do mock interview training for a cohort probably close to 4 or 5 years ago. And through that experience, the mission really resonated with me. You know, I had my own challenges of transition, and I find myself very fortunate that I've been able to find the career that I have. But I also know a lot of friends that got out and didn't maximize the opportunities that were probably available to them.
Yep.
and that mission really resonated with me. So I did the mock interviews. I called up the team over at Operation Uniform and just asked how can I get more involved, and the rest is history. And I'm now on the board for Operation Uniform as the vice chair.
Well, I am honored to have you sitting next to me, somebody who has helped veterans make that transition and us get the word out about Operation New Uniform. If somebody wanted to reach out to you or Operation New Uniform, how would they do that?
Sure. I mean, the best way is to reach out through their website. So onuvets.org. You can type in Operation New Uniform on Google and it will come up. But reach out through the website. I think is the best path to get there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the family.
Thank you very much.
And for you family members out there, if you want to know more about Operation New Uniform or Ryan, please visit iwannabuzz.com. That's going to do it for this segment of Buzzworthy Veterans. I'm your host, Ant Stroud. And remember, always vets, always family.